Alrighty, what is up, everybody? How are you guys doing? My name is Marquise from the Keyse Review. Welcome to my live stream this Sunday. We're doing pretty good here, and I got my surface up, so let's turn that down so we don't hear me yapping 2 times. So, we got a little bit to go over today. We got a couple of cool topics and everything like that. So, let's jump right into it. And we have, first off, for those of you guys that was following my stream and was following my news bites earlier this week, you guys know that the Ford had unleashed the Bronco, as I like to say, and man, that vehicle looks nice. And I'm not like the biggest I'm not the biggest Ford fan, but they did a really good job on the Bronco. I mean, I really have to give it to Ford basically. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So if you guys look over here, and actually I might even let me see. Let's do this full screen to start off as. Let's do that full screen. So let's go ahead and start this. So as you guys see the little Bronco logo, I didn't really know what to expect with this Bronco event, and let me see why it's not playing. Go ahead, play for me, please. Play. There we go. So here's the Bronco, and I mean, I think this event they didn't really live stream it, but I think this was way better than the F-150 event. Honestly, I wasn't that impressed with the F-150 event. I mean, it was a nice truck, but the way they sold off the Bronco with like this videos, it is nice. So, and there's actually a couple of different versions from what we got. So this is the regular Bronco right here that you guys see going up, rock crawling and everything like that. So you can just see it. You can tell right there it has lockers on it, which it does. I can go over the specs in a little bit, but just watching some of this video, man, I mean, it's awesome. It really is. Like, I even like the yellow color or whatever color that they call that. So, I mean, that thing's awesome. That is really awesome. So, and this thing, so far from what I'm reading, it has a 4x4 drive. So, all four wheels are going to be able to drive, as you can see earlier in the video, which is, you have to have it for rock crawling and everything like that. It's very obvious that Ford is going to be competing against the Jeep Wranglers and everything like that. And then you have the sport, which they kind of sold a couple of little quick tidbits on. The sport's gonna be able to compete against some of those other, like the Wrangler Sports and everything like that. But I mean, it's freaking awesome, man. You got my little bluest color right there. Look at that. It just looks fun. Yeah, and I ain't never rock crawled before. I always wanted to. I'm not sure if you can deflate the tires and stuff like that from the factory. Like sometimes you have a little thing where you can deflate the tires, hit it and deflate the tires, but a little bit. But I guess we'll find out. If not, there'll most likely be an aftermarket part for it. There's a Sport actually. If you guys see that vehicle behind, that was the Sport behind it. So, and I mean, it just looks so effortlessly. It really does. Like, this is something like I really have to give Ford their due, because they really came out with a vehicle to really truly get excited about. You know, and I'm starting to look at Chevy, because Chevy is really like my favorite manufacturer in the world. And after seeing this, I'm like, okay, what you guys gonna do, Chevy? You guys really haven't been showing much. You guys been very quiet. So, I mean, if you can just look at that, like, geez, look at it hopping, dude. Like, they did that on purpose. Bronco name is gonna be jumping around. It works. It really do works. And some of this kind of like just the same footage, but we'll show some of the interior too. So we'll go ahead and play some of that. So you can see both of them together. That's the sport and the regular one. So the sport's going to be interesting because with the sport I don't think it's going to be really like the rock crawling vehicle. It's more of the like the utility vehicle, where it's just going to be carrying stuff to and from. Really, you're not going to. I'm guessing you might can rock crawl with it. Well, did you see something right there going up the trails and stuff like that? Actually, why this looks like the same video? Why is this the same video? It should be the different one. And then get to the one I wanted. It's probably replaying. There we go. Looks like PowerPoint don't want to work good today. I did all that work on PowerPoint and it's acting sleepy. Time to wake up. It's 1 o'clock. But anyway, we'll see some of the interior. And I mean, geez, like that looks nice. Like that really, really does look nice. And the interesting thing I find with this is that on the 2.3 liter version of the vehicle, it's actually going to have the manual. So if you look right there at the shifter, that's an actual manual. So they're going to come with 2 flavors. So they're going to have a manual version and they're going to have an automatic. The manual version is going to be a 7-speed. So with that it's not just going to be. So if you see that C right there, let me pause that. Let me actually rewind that a little bit real quick. So if you guys notice right there, let's go ahead and play. So right there. So if you guys notice with the gear shifts over there, if you look right over here, so you see that you have your shifter. So you're going to have your 6, but then you see that C. That C is designated for rock crawling right there. That is specific to rock crawling right there. So it's like when they have 7 gears, you're like, ooh, interesting, 7 for a manual, but that 7th gear is for rock crawling right there. I thought that was just cool, you know, just to have a gear dedicated to where the vehicle, you know, goes into rock crawling mode basically on the manual. Like that's pretty cool, man. Like me personally, because I'm not a rock crawler, and anybody that is, you know, can correct me. I've never seen that before, you know, where you have a manual transmission where the gear is completely committed to just rock crawling. So I just thought that was pretty cool, man. And then you see you got the wireless charging right there. That looks like a Android phone. And then the steering wheel. The steering wheel looks very, very nice. Looks like it really laid out. It's clean. You have handles right there, so you can hang on. More handlebars right there. So they did a really, really nice job with this. Like, I'm just like, Ford, like, yes. Now, the only other thing that I can possibly say without, you know, actually touching it is that some of the interior might look a little bit cheapish, but, you know, we'll cross that bridge as we go. So you see they got light bar, so they might have light bar options. You can have the top open. I would have to get the 4-seater if I was to ever get something like this. And look at that, man. Like, geez, like that interior is so nice. And then if you see the little bar that passed by, you saw the GoPro on top of that bar. So I guess that's going to be an accessory. So you can get a mounting bar for your GoPro or your action cameras right there. Then you have navigation. Oh, the interesting thing, I didn't put this in my notes, so I'm glad I saw that. The navigation that's on this vehicle, if you get the, I believe that's going to be a 10-inch screen, that thing is going to actually have the rock crawling maps on it. So it's not just going to have navigational maps on the road. It's actually going to have rock crawling maps on it, all the way down to like marking waypoints and everything like that. So you can, you know, basically get back to where you need to be back on the road if you get lost. But yeah, there go the shifter. That's the automatic right there. So USA product, which I'm sure all the parts are not USA. Start stop. I don't think we're seeing any more keyholes anymore, guys. I'm just noticing that trend. We're not going to see no keyholes at all. Like the keyholes is pretty much dead. It looks like it's all just going to be, you know, proximity based keys, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So, you know, you see the digital TFT gauge cluster right there. That's another thing. It looks like there's a little manual one over here on the side. So right over here. But, you know, the center you can see, look, rock crawl mode. Like, guys, this is a really nice vehicle. Like, I'm actually pretty shocked at Ford. Like, whoever designed this, like, bravo. Like, you guys did an awesome job with it, man. Like, I can't really say much bad about it. Like, that thing is really a premium experience once you start thinking about it. Like, it really, really is that great experience. As far as just watching it on the screen, you can only imagine how this thing is going to be when you go out and actually touch it. So, going back to this screen right here, we have. Let me go back. Let's go ahead and play that. So going over to this slide, and let's go ahead and play that. So here's the specs right there. So you got your 2.3 liter, and then you got your 2.7 liter engines, and both of these are turbocharged. So the 2.3 is going to be single turbo, and the 2.7 is going to be a twin turbo on this. So that's pretty cool that you have twin turbo engines. So I'm looking for it to sound pretty good. For the 2.3 liter, you're going to have the option of having two different transmissions too. So that's the cool thing about the 2.3. So I think the 2.3 is the one that they're really, really going to sell. They're going to have things like, so the engine is both EcoBoost. The 2.3 is going to be a L-shaped engine, 4-cylinder, 270 horsepower, and 310 foot-pound of torque, or pound-foot of torque. The 2.7 liter is going to be a twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 engine. That guy is going to have 310 horsepower and 400 pound-foot of torque. So to me, man, like, I don't know how they doing their engine configurations, but to me, I would rather want the V6. But for the transmission, so this is what we got for the transmission. So the 7-speed G-Track, I believe you pronounce it, manual gearbox. So that's going to have the 6 gears plus the crawler gear. And then that's only going to be for the 2.3 liter. The 2.7 liter is going to have a 10-speed automatic, which the 2.3 liter will also have the option of. For me, I would probably want to get that manual, just straight up, especially just to be able to, go to the hills and shift into the crawler gear. Like, I need to start making some friends with some off-road guys, man. Like, this vehicle right here, like, man, Ford, like, for me to be happy about a Ford vehicle, because like I said, I'm not the biggest Ford fan. Like, just look at the front, dude. It's just awesome. Look at that, man. This has got to be an awesome vehicle, man. I'm gonna have to hit my contacts up and see if they have any demos of them or when they're gonna get them. But yeah, so we got that. It's also gonna have and we can play that video again. So we got go ahead, play. It's gonna have, like I said, 7-speed manual and 10-speed automatic on the 2.3. The 2.7 is gonna have the 10-speed automatic. It will have a transfer case, so there's 2 different transfer cases. So it looks like both of them are going to be 4x4 drive. The first one's going to be standard with a part-time selectable engagement. So I guess, you can engage it only at certain times, probably when you stopped. And then the advanced transfer case is going to have a 4x4 as well, but that one's going to be an automatic on demand. So I'm guessing you can shift between your crawling gears on demand, which they are announcing that they're having a 4 high gear, so 4x4 high gear, so you can do that. And the differential is going to be a Dana 44 Advanced Tech rear axle with Spicer Performa Track electronic locking differentials, and it seems like it's going to be pretty much the same thing for the front. It's going to be either a 4-door or a 2-door or a 4-door, which is going to be a 2-passenger or a 4-passenger for this vehicle. So that's going to be the 2021 Ford Bronco. Now, like I was saying, they also have a Sport. So let's go over to that next slide. So they got the Sport, and the cool thing about the Sport is that it's not the performance vehicle. So this is probably not going to be so much for rock crawling. This is going to be for more like trails, outdoors stuff, and everything like that. So if you want to go and have fun outdoors, then that's what you got. But what that one has is, this one is just a 5-passenger 4-door. You can see there's stuff at the top so you can carry things. So there's a little bit of crawling right there, I guess. Not as much as the other Bronco. But it is, made for outdoors still. So this vehicle, I can see you camping more in, basically. Going out camping somewhere in a desert or something like that. So, and man, dude, like, it's cool, but that regular Bronco, man, like, that regular Bronco really does it for me. But I mean, these vehicles gonna look like they're gonna be durable because they have to be, and I will be very very interested to see how crazy the aftermarket the aftermarket sector is going to get over the parts for these things. Because to market an off-road vehicle, there's so many parts that you can have for off-road. Is just it's crazy, man. You know. So and then I know I'm watching the videos because I've kind of watched these last night, but I was like tired, like 2 o'clock in the morning doing these, so you can just see like they're really coming to play with these vehicles. And like the one thing I would have to say about their marketing on this one, they just sold the vehicles. You know, with the F-150, in contrast with that event, they kind of sold it, and it was like, yeah, people coming on talking. It was, cool, representing the first responders, everything like that. But at the end of the day, when we're watching the event, man, we're watching it for this stuff, We're watching it to see what everything is about for these vehicles. And man, dude, like it's really exciting. So you can see here they're about to go biking, so they got a couple of bikes. So if you asking questions, can I fit a couple of bikes in the cargo area? Yes, you can. So you have that stuff right there. I'm sorry I'm not talking a whole lot, but this vehicle is pretty awesome, man. Especially that regular one. I want the regular one. You got the tent right there. I would not be sleeping like that. Just get me on the ground. Ain't no way I'm going on top of that. I'm a big guy. I'm 300 plus pounds. Yeah, that's probably going to fall. And then who knows? Maybe it's pretty good. You never know. But as you can see, like I said, this is more of a utilitarian vehicle. You have the bottle openers right there. You have the little tray table right there. You have your tent right there. So yeah, man, this thing's gonna have a lot of good stuff on it. I'm really, really impressed. Really, really impressed. Yeah, I guess we can go full screen. I think the next slide I got is gonna be the interior of this. Those are two Bronco Sports. Man, I haven't been camping in so many years, man. This just makes me want to go back camping, honestly. It really does, It's been such a long time since I've been camping. I'm not a big camper, but it's fun to do it once every while. It's a good experience. So I guess we can go over to the next image. So go to the next one. We can see some interior shots of this guy. And there's probably going to be some other shots too, I think, if I remember correctly. So it's going to show some static shots. And it's a nice vehicle. I like the styling. Whoever was the designers of this vehicle did a really good job. I like the curvature, even like right there if you see them by the lights. Of course, you got your backup camera right there. And the cool thing, it looks like, with some backup cameras, it looks like you're going to have enough room to put your hand in, because some of them kind of feels tight if they have a little button. Or it's like a little small button. And it's like trying to reach for the trunk. I don't want no like little small button to press for the trunk opening, So, and then of course Ford in their little touchpad. So I ain't using no touchpad. You see the screen slightly different, but I believe it's still the same technology. This one's a little bit different in the Sport. So you got your AC, you got your engine start right there. You got the seats. So I'm not sure how big the space is going to be. That will be my biggest question is, especially for us big guys, will there be enough space for us big guys to be in there? And being 6'5", like it's not that easy to fit in a lot of vehicles or be comfortable, I would say, at least in a lot of vehicles. Wireless charging, you can see the USB Type-C right there, which I'm so happy that we're finally starting to see vehicles with the USB Type-C, products with USB Type-C. You got your storage. That'll probably be on top of the seat. Under the seat, we gotta find some place for some boom boom. I gotta have my boom booms, guys. Gotta have my subs somewhere. So you can see the Bronco logo right there. I'm not sure about that brown though. I'll probably have to get black. I'm not much of a brown or a peanut butter, as they like to call it, looking guy. Here's some blue seats. Oh, I didn't even see this. I must not watch this all the way through. But see, that's the 4 low, 4 high right there. So your low gearing and your high gearing. Yeah, because see, on the sport they don't really so much. I don't think they have like a crawling version on this guy. This is an off-road vehicle, but it's not crawling. Rock crawling vehicle. So see if we look like we got some comments in. I really like the storage space. That's all me. Yeah, there's look like it's gonna have a nice good amount of storage space. Cause see, with this thing right here, honestly, guys, like this is made really. Oops, I went to the wrong screen. This one is really made to go off road. So you're going to be camping for about a couple of days at least, so you got to be able to have good storage, and I think that's what it's going to have right there. So to have good storage inside the vehicle is going to be paramount, especially for that sport, because that sport's more like a camper. The regular Bronco is probably just going to be, you're going to have fun with, but for that sport's going to be that camping vehicle. So I see what Ford did right there. They have one, you have your rock crawler, and then you have your camper. So you can even, maybe if you have, a bunch of friends coming along, you can bring one vehicle for fun and then have the other one where it has all your camping gear and everything like that inside of it. So I think that's pretty cool right there. So let's go ahead and we'll go back to the split screen right here, and then we'll go to the next slide. So here's some of the specs right there. So you see, EcoBoost 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. That one's going to be a 3-cylinder, which is pretty interesting. That's going to be 100 horsepower, which is going to have 190 pound-foot of torque on that guy. And then we're going to have the 2.0 liter 4-cylinder, which is also turbocharged with 245 horsepower and 270 pound-foot of torque. Both of those will also have start-stop. So for those of you that know start-stop, so if you ever hear cars that sound like they turn off and then turn back on, like after they start going at the stoplight, so that's start-stop. So basically what happens is that the computer is essentially shutting down the engine to conserve gas. And then once you're ready to go, it turns back on all the cylinders and you start going, So you have that guy right there. The transmission is going to be... the 1.5 liter is going to have an 8-speed automatic, and the 2 liter is going to have an 8-speed select stiff automatic. So basically that one's going to have the little paddle shifters in the back, so you can shift up and down with the paddle shifters, and hopefully it feels good, because there's some cars that it just feels plastically, and if we're not going to have a manual anymore, guys, at least give me like some good paddles, like some good feeling paddles. Don't give me like no plastic junk, like even my little steering wheel right here for Gran Turismo. I mean, those some solid feeling paddles. Those some of the other paddles in the cars that I'll be testing and be like little plastic piece of junk. And I'm spending $30,000-$40,000 for this vehicle. I better get some nice some paddles. So that's the Ford. I know that took a little bit longer, but I mean, I think the Ford, that deserved all that time, because it was so much that they sold with those videos, man. And like I said, I will buy that. I will definitely buy that. You can even see like over here, you have the little halos and the lights and stuff like that. It looks like it's going to have projectors. Those are projector lights. So you should be getting very, very good lighting with the vehicle. So that stuff will, I mean, it's just amazing. There's nothing else I can really say or do about anything like that. So, that's the Ford Bronco, guys. The Ford Bronco and the Ford Bronco Sport. I'm guessing they should be releasing this in the fall. I haven't checked the dates yet, but I'll find that out for you guys, and I'll post them on the social media pages. But those should be coming soon. And I was actually talking with one of my neighbors the other day. He wants it. So like, this vehicle getting buzz, and it's for a good reason, because it's a good vehicle, man. Like, it really, really is a good vehicle. In my honest opinion, I'm going to definitely find out how I can, test this vehicle out. So, maybe we'll do a little mobile Keyse review, which I always want to do. So anyway, let's moving on. We're going over, we got some Nissan news. Nissan releasing a new car. So they're releasing a vehicle. I shouldn't say car, but it's a crossover, which is a car crossover into a SUV type situation. So, but this is going to be an electronic vehicle, an EV. So this is what's going to be called the Ariya. So let me go ahead and boot up that slide for you guys. And let's go ahead and play. So that's the Ariya. And I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Oh, let me read. I'm missing some of the text. I need that car now. LOL. Yes, that was a good car. I think that Bronco is going to be real good, you know. Aside from all the OJ Simpson, whatever people might talk about. But that was the furthest thing from my mind when I seen the vehicle. Anyway, back to Nissan. So this is the Ariya EV crossover. This guy's going to be 5-passenger. It's going to have 2 different drivetrains on it. So if you call it drivetrain, it's electronic motors. So it's going to have a front wheel drive, which is going to be a single motor, and then it's going to have an all wheel drive, which is, you know, 3. No, they said it was 2 motors, I believe, for the all wheel drive. So let me say, yeah, in my notes, yeah. So all wheel drive, 2 motors on that one. They're calling that second one the E-Force, and the E-Force is interesting spelling. You'll see it in a slide in a little bit, but this would have a 63 kilowatt hour battery, or you can do a 87 kilowatt hour battery. So it's said to have a 300-mile range. And I don't know if they're talking about the 63 kilowatt or the 87 kilowatt battery, because on their site, and I look at the press sites, so they haven't mentioned if the 300-mile range is going to be with the 63 or the 87 kilowatt hour battery. So I guess we'll find that out eventually. And I can put this big screen for you guys for your viewing pleasure. So this guy's gonna have that. So it's gonna have 160 kilowatt of power, which if you equivalent that to horsepower, that'll be 215 horses. So, you know, horsepower, it's kind of hard for horsepower for EV vehicles because it's not really horsepower, because it's not a combustible engine or a diesel engine, you know. So they usually say kilowatts is the real thing, but you know, of course they marketed it, you know, convert it to horsepower because that's what people understand more as horsepower than kilowatts right now. But I think we're gonna see more kilowatts, you know, coming up, because there's a lot of electric vehicles coming out. Chevy has announced that they're coming out with a truck. I'm following that news. I'll probably talk about it a little bit in this week's News Bites because I'm reading up on that. So watch out for that story. But this is a pretty nice vehicle. I kind of like it. I even like the copper look on it. But going back to some of the specs, and it's going to have 215 horsepower, 221 pound-foot of torque, or 444 pound-foot of torque. So I'm guessing that's dependent on what battery that you put on here. Now, here's the downer after reading some of the stuff with this guy. So if you get the all-wheel drive, I believe, or no, let me correct that. If you get the long drive edition, or what they call the long range model, this is kind of sucks because that means that the battery is going to probably be inside the cargo area. So the cargo volume of the smaller one is going to be, which is going to be the single motor, is going to be 16.5 cubic feet. The E-Force motor is going to only have 14.6 cubic feet in it. So you're essentially losing, that will be almost 2 cubic feet on the E-Force model, which is funny that shows right there. But 2 cubic feet less on the E-Force model, which is the 4-wheel drive, or the all-wheel drive, I should call it, than the single motor front wheel drive. So I don't know, man. Like, I always feel like, and this is where you have to give Tesla their props, because they figured out a way to put the whole battery at the bottom. So regardless of what battery size it is, you don't really sacrifice storage space, you know. But hey, we'll definitely see. But you know, moving on, they're gonna have also a lot of safety features. So they're calling this Nissan Safety Shield. So you have, before I even get to that, they're gonna have some hands-free operations on this too. So basically your autopilot mode on it with your ADAS systems on it. But anyway, they're putting everything else under what's called the Nissan Safety Shield. So this is going to have a whole bunch of safety features and things like that in order to help out with safety around, when you're driving on the streets and everything like that. So the things that safety seal include is automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection. So if somebody decides to not pay attention and they're on their smartphone, which they're not supposed to be doing when they're crossing the street, if you for some reason miss them, the sensor should be able to, stop you. Hit the brakes and stop it for you. It's also going to have blind spot warning, which is, it'll detect if somebody's on the side of you. Rear cross traffic alert, which I'm guessing if somebody's behind you moving, it will have that alert. Lane departure warning, high beam assist, and rear automatic braking. So it looked like it's going to have some good stuff right there, some good safety features and everything like that. I don't have much more information on that particular vehicle outside of that. There's of course some some specs and stuff like that with the size, but we'll see how it does. Like, we're in an EV age, and we're seeing a lot more manufacturer now starting to come out with the EV models, and we're seeing a lot of the big corporations that's coming out with EV models. We're not just seeing startups anymore. We're starting to see the Nissans, we're starting to see Fords, Audi's rumored to have one, Chevy's rumoring to have one, or they announced they had one. It's not a rumor. And actually, Audi's, I don't think it's a rumor no more either, because they did announce it like a year or so ago that they are going to be coming out with EVs. So I know Volkswagen is definitely going to be coming out with some more EVs. And I mean, we're going to see a lot of electric vehicles. It could be, it might be the rate of the future. We never know. We could start seeing some of the gasoline vehicles die off in the form of an EV vehicle. So we'll definitely see what happens there. But let's go over to the next side. So here's some of the specs. As I already said, you have a 160 kilowatt battery, which is about 215 horsepower. And then you have the 290 kilowatt, I forgot to add that, 290 kilowatt battery, which is about 389 horsepower. You're going to have 221 pound-foot of torque, and then 444 pound-foot of torque, depending on what engine size, or motor size, shall I say, sorry. Motor, not engine, motor. Depending on what engine you get. It's going to be a front wheel drive, or it's going to be the E-Force all-wheel motor. All-wheel drive basically means that it drives on all four wheels at the same time, no matter what. The battery is going to be about 300-mile range for what we know. 63 kilowatt hour battery, or 87 kilowatt hour. Standard long range. Cargo size is right there, 16.5 on the front wheel drive, 14.6 on the all-wheel drive. And then there's all the safety features and everything like right there. So that's what we got for that guy. And I'll leave that up for a minute so you guys can see. And then here's some of the pictures right here, some of the video. This is a nice look. I like the headlight. The headlight, what's that? There's a vehicle that I just seen the other day with kind of like the same headlight. I can't name it right now. It's more of a luxurious brand. It might have been, was it an Audi? It might have been an Audi. But, yeah. Nice vehicle. We're going to see what it does, man. We're definitely going to see what it do. Cool, guys. Check the chat here real quick. Nissan has a nice look. Nice color. Yeah, I kind of like that copper. I don't think I'll get it for myself personally, but I like the copper. And you can actually see a sensor right there. You can see a camera right there. Of course, there's no airlets in the grill right there because there's no engine in it. So that's probably going to be a front trunk, or a frunk, what we like to call it nowadays. So I'm not sure if that little door right there that you see right over here, I'm not sure if that's going to be like a little tow hinge you can put, or if it's going to be for charging. Then the Nissan logo lit up. I'm starting to see a few cars with the logos lit up in the front. I kind of want to do this to my Volkswagen Jetta. Put the little light in the front so I can light up. I love lights, for those of you that don't know me that good yet. So, but that's that. Nissan Ariya. Be looking out for that. That's also a 2021 model, so we should be seeing that guy soon. So, if you guys like it, be looking out for that model, man. Alrighty, so let's move on to a little bit of compute news here. So, Intel making a few bombs this week, And I haven't been talking a lot about the processor companies because they're kind of quiet. You know, there's been news coming out, which kind of rumors, but it's like, like it's not major. But I think this is going to be our first major like technology news. So for people that's looking to get new computers and everything like that, this is what you want to be paying attention to for a few reasons. And I'll start explaining. So basically, Intel's discontinuing all their 9th gen core processors. So 9th gen, how can I explain this? They was running off what's called 14 nanometers. So that's the size of the die size for these chips. And 14 nanometers is considered ancient technology now. And Intel been on it for about, I want to say about 6-7 years now, while AMD has been moving on to about 7 nanometer for most of their at least their chiplets on the chip. But so we're waiting for Intel to go and shrink the die size to go 10 nanometer, which they do have, but they haven't put all their chips in it yet. Now they're putting all their chips into it. So we're currently on 10th gen, so all the last year models and stuff like that, that's going to the wayside. So from what we're understanding, they're taking no more orders after January the 22nd of next year. And after you order them, you cannot cancel your orders. So this is going to be more for probably like the manufacturing distributors, but you know, that's just shows you they're trying to phase away and they're not making any more. And the last shipment will be on July the 9th, 2021. So why am I going over all this is because they're going to be coming out with an event. So here is what I got right here. So September 2nd, they're announcing a big event. And I don't have a time yet. I haven't seen no time. I've been scouring the whole internet. I've been looking on the Intel site. I haven't got a time. But September the 2nd, they're going to be announcing something big. This is kind of telling because a lot of people are saying, well, this is going to be Tiger Lake. Tiger Lake is going to be their new platform, mostly for mobile for the most part. If you know for what processors and stuff like that, and mobiles, everything's trying to go about conserving battery life. Because especially battery technology is old. We're really not getting no new technology right now. There's a lot of new technology being worked on, but we're really not having a lot of new stuff out yet. But the cool thing is with Tiger Lake, there's a few things with Tiger Lake. So you're supposed to get a lot of battery savings. It's supposed to be very energy efficient. It's going to be on 10 nanometer, so no more 14 nanometer. We're finally getting away from 14 nanometer, which, you know, we're happy that Intel finally going on, because AMD, I'm more of an Intel fan than AMD, but I gotta admit, AMD been kicking their butts. I just now got an AMD graphics card, and that thing's running beautifully right now. So especially, you know, with me video editing, which it was just kicking my last graphics cards, but you know, and doing this live stream, like my apps will crash and stuff like that sometimes. Since I put the graphics card in 3 days ago, it has not stopped and crashed once, so that's awesome. So, which I have some little quirks with my icons moving, but I'm fixing that. But anyway, going back to this. So, you know, the 11th gen Tiger Lake processors, will they have big and little cores? So, big and little cores is basically where you have a big processor and a bunch of little processors. So if you guys kind of think of what the PlayStation 3 had, the PlayStation 3 had your big processor, your PPE, and then you had the small processor, which was the SPE. So this is something that Intel's going to have. So basically, this is what happens with this. If you're using a lot of power, you know, you'll be on the big processor. If you're not, you'll be on the small processors. And the cool thing with that will be able to conserve battery life. Because obviously, if you're just browsing Facebook or just reading a web page, that for the most part does not take up a lot of power. So you'd be on the little cores. Now, when you start doing more stuff, you know, maybe you're watching some big videos, you know, some 4K videos and things like that, that requires some more processing power. So that's when you have the bigger processing core on there take over those duties, or when you're like, you know, maybe editing music or editing film, you want that big processor. And I think the small processors will be able to help and add to that big processor too, to get you some more compute power. So that's going to be very interesting. It will have XE graphics. For those of you guys that know, that's been watching the stream, I've been, you know, cutting out XE graphics. I've been highly interested to see what Intel does with these graphics, especially since they got Raja Koduri from AMD. since they plucked him away from AMD. Been about what 4 years ago now. XE, from what I'm hearing from the leaks, is the real deal. They saying that it's kicking some of the Ryzen APUs, which is your CPU and GPU combined. They've been kicking their butts on some of the benchmarks, and that's going to be very, very interesting to see, because Intel is the biggest graphics manufacturer in the world. Not the best, but as far as just units, the biggest one, because there's a lot of their processors that comes with the graphics processor in it, but they haven't been that good. XE, it seems like they're going to be very, very good. And from what I'm seeing, it might be even better than AMD's even upcoming 4000 series. So, to be able to run, especially if you play games, if you're doing things with like graphic processing, or vector, I like to call it vector processing because that's what it really is. XE is going to be a big deal. XE is going to help you transcode, even transcoding and encoding video, if you're converting it from like a raw video file to like MP4 or something like that. That's going to matter, before you transfer it, to save space. Where we see discrete cards. This is something that I'm thinking, and nobody really is mentioning this, because remember, we're supposed to get an XE discrete card too. And I'm looking for more like the workstation one so I can test them out. So will we get those discrete cards? Because we know Intel wants to have discrete cards. They want to go against AMD. They want to go against NVIDIA. How good are those cards going to be? I cannot just imagine that at the September 2nd event, that the only thing that they're going to be showcasing is just for the mobile stuff. They're not just going to be showing, ultra lightweight convertible laptops or anything like that. I think we might see the actual thing. I think we're going to see an actual graphics card from Intel at the September 2nd event. They're not going to market all this stuff just for a bunch of laptops. There's no way you can convince me otherwise. I'm sorry. They're going to be showing the graphics card on the September 2nd event. It's going to happen. Regardless if it comes out soon or comes out next year, they're going to be showing us more about XE. What about the next gen processors, desktop processors? I think that's going to be shown at the event too. Again, just for them to have an event just for mobile, I don't see that happening, especially when they said we have something big to share, as you see in this slide right here. So they're going to be showing some new desktop processors too, which is about time, like Intel, let's be realistic, guys. They just kind of been rehashing it up in clock speed, and they're working hard with clock speed, which is awesome, because single core performance to me still beats, in some cases 64 cores like AMD is doing in some cases. But they have to go down to that 10 nanometer stuff. They have to be able to have it, not be a power hog, which a lot of Intel chips on the upper echelons of performance is. I believe we'll see some discrete chips too, for the desktops, because, I love building computers, and on my Patreon, I just recorded a video of me taking apart my computer and upgrading and stuff like that. So I'm going to work on that video. Hopefully I'll get it out this week, hopefully, depending on how my week goes. Will we see a Xeon chip? So Xeon chips is for servers and workstations. Will we see some chips with that? AMD is kicking Intel's butt on workstation processing, guys. Like, it's not even close right now. I'm sorry. I love Intel, but AMD came up and got them with the okie doke. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have the Threadrippers. The Threadrippers are amazing. You have the Epic line. The Epic line, I mean, you can put 4 terabytes of freaking RAM, I think. I think it was like 2 terabytes on one processor. So you can put 2 terabytes of RAM on the processor. Like, that's bananas. Like, most people don't need 2 terabytes, but you can do it. Intel's got to get there, They got to get to a place where you're adding more than a few PCIe lanes just for off the processor. Because, like, the best processor from Intel, you can add 64 lanes. And for people that don't understand how the lanes work, it's kind of like little channels connected to your PCI slots, which is important really for 2 things: graphics cards and now storage, since we got SSDs. The more lanes you have, the better. For people that like to do gaming and stuff like that, one graphics card usually is about 16 lanes. You do 2, that's 32 lanes. Of course, you can go down to 8, and then you can do the whole SLI thing and everything like that. But, preferably, you want to have that direct connection to the processor. Like with some of the older processors and stuff like that, like especially if it's not workstation, they only have maybe 16 lanes, and then the rest coming from the platform controller hub, And to me, that's like, give it straight to me from the processor, man. Add those extra lanes, you know. So, we'll see a lot of good stuff from Intel, hopefully. I really hope so, because next year, especially now that I'm doing this channel and everything like that, I need new equipment now. So I'm definitely evaluating what AMD and what Intel is doing. So hopefully, we can see some good stuff from them coming up pretty soon. So let's go on to gaming. And I might go off on a slight little rant here, guys, because I just got, just before, like literally like 30 minutes before this stream, I just got word that so just rewinding a little bit from last week. Phil Spencer says that they don't believe in generational exclusive for games and stuff like that. Meaning that video games, take Uncharted for instance, only is on the PlayStation 4. Or, PlayStation 3, I should say. PlayStation 3. And don't come out on the PS4. They don't believe in it. Which is okay. But you have to have something that comes out that excites people. Here's the biggest problem that I have for Microsoft, is that they rely on Halo and Gears of War so much, we're still wondering what else they're going to do. He just came out today, from what I heard, and said that, we're not making that a requirement, even though they basically said it was last week. So you're not going to make it a requirement, but now you're making you was making a requirement, but no, that's not what we meant. It's optional. Phil Spencer has to make up his mind on what he wants to talk about, basically. Like, honestly, guys, I don't think Phil Spencer is the right person to head the Xbox division anymore. Like, he's been there for a while, but I don't think that he's the right guy, because everything he says is just, it doesn't happen, or it's confusing, or it mixes a signal, because we have this Xbox event coming out this week, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but we're having this Xbox event coming out this week, and, you're talking about, exclusive games don't matter, we want to make it for every system. Like, to me, that kind of just pulls back the excitement for me a little bit. I'm not primarily an Xbox gamer, but I like to play Xbox games sometimes, Like, a game's a game. If you enjoy a game, who cares what system is on? But give me a reason to buy your product. You know what I'm saying? Give me, I'm going to be selling out $500. No, let's be realistic. $500 just for the system, guys. If I'm going to be spending about $1,000+ on gaming for some entertainment system that you created, make it interesting for me, the consumer. Don't give me that, we don't believe in this and that. I don't want to buy your system. Why should I spend my hard-earned cash to buy your system that you don't really, really believe in, guys? Like, that's just stupid to me. That's really stupid. Give me a reason to go out and spend my money on your product. Like, marketing for Xbox, because Microsoft's a great company. You guys know I love me some Microsoft. It's just that Xbox division I have issues with sometimes. And this is the reason why. And it's not that the Xbox sucks. Xbox right now has been probably the last few generations the second best, or the second most successful gaming system in the world. But how Phil Spencer making it like, you can get this games on Windows, or we're going to have it on Windows as well, which, when you talk about generation exclusives, the Xbox and the PC, they're both running Windows. I'm just saying. He makes it kind of hard to get excited, like, it kind of takes the steam out, because like I said, I'm not primarily an Xbox gamer, but I like to see good stuff on the Xbox too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember when my uncle had got the original Xbox, the first Xbox, and Project Gotham Racing came out. Now, I still didn't think it was as good as Gran Turismo, but I think it came close. And a lot of stuff they did was right in that game. Every time I went to my uncle's house when I was a kid, I played Project Gotham Racing. That was a fun game. And we don't see that. We got Forza, but Forza's kind of like more arcadish. I'm not to say I don't play arcadey racing games, but I kind of like more realistic racing games. The stuff that's hard, the stuff that you're not going to play for 15 minutes and put down. I want to be hours playing them. So, and just to say with exclusives and stuff like that, and between systems and everything, like, if you're gonna have, or if you're going to say that you don't believe in exclusives and stuff like this, well, I want to see Halo, I want to see Gears of War on the PlayStation, Nintendo, freaking the Google Stadia. You know what I'm saying? And the Google Stadia ain't getting no love, but it's just like, make it interesting for us, Phil. Like, Phil, come on, man. Like, you have to start. Like, Phil needs to stop talking, I think, at this point. Don't talk, Phil. You're just screwing everything up at this point, man. Because I'm over here, I'm setting up my live stream, getting my notes ready and stuff like that for Thursday. And I got to wake up earlier, which I don't like to. I'm going to probably be waking up at 7. The actual event starts at 9. I'm going to be probably live streaming at 8:30. But it's like, man, come on, make it interesting, man. Give me a game that's only on the Xbox Series X, and sell this S first. Like, please, sell the S. Like, why you keep on delaying the Series S? Sell it, It's going to be a weaker system than any systems, that's going to be the next generation for what we know. Just unveil it. Why are you taking so long for it? Because it's funny because how the narrative changed from, Microsoft's being transparent, Microsoft's, showing off the system before Sony and this and that and the other. And guess what? Last month, all of that changed real quick. All of that, or even the month before Sony even sold off the PS5 and all the 26 games that they sold off, Microsoft had a crappy third-party event. Let's just call it for what it is. I've talked to many people that live and die by Xbox, and they said that event's crappy. It's the truth. They didn't really show any gameplay. After marketing, they was going to show gameplay. And it was like some of the games, like Scorn, it was like, okay. Show us something, guys. Like, please, Microsoft. Like Satya Nadella. Like, tell Phil he needs to do a better job. Like, I don't know, man. But anyway, that's my rant for the day. Let's go on to let's go play some video, actually. So we got the they had sold off their little vector system, which the vector system has to do with the SSD in the systems. So the SSD is not as powerful as the PlayStation, but it's an SSD still. It's going to be pretty awesome. So here's some video on it, showcasing it. They say it's going to be about 40 times faster than what the Xbox One, SSD is. I mean, hard drive. I'm sorry, not SSD. Hard drive is. You basically see it on that right there. It's going to be pretty cool. And then, like I said, you're going to have the Xbox gaming event, 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, by the way, Pacific time. So that should be about noon Eastern time. I'm going to probably start about 8:30, showcasing the event. I'm trying to get some people on it with me, so it's just not me. But 8:30 is when we're going to start the live stream, which will be about 11:30 Eastern time. Halo Infinite has been confirmed, by the way. So actually, we're going to soak that off. So let me turn up the sound on this guy, because there is a teaser trailer that I found. So let's go ahead. Let's go back to this, and I'll go to the full screen real quick, and then let's play. Oh, that's a word. So yeah, before we saw that, here's the little teaser right here. I forgot about that. So there's a teaser, and then the video should be on this one.
The hour approaches. Forces occupy the ring. Within hours, it will be under our control. Humanity will burn. Their brazen defiance will be all but a memory. No more prophets. No more lies. We stand together, brothers to the end. We are his will. We are his legacy. We are the banished.
right, guys. So that was that. That was their teaser trailer. So that they have confirmed on their official Twitter page that will be shown at the event on Thursday. My take, they have to start off with Halo, man. You cannot make that your grand finale. We've been having Halo since, geez, when did the Xbox come out? The original one? I would say back in 2002, was it? Something like that? 2001, 2002? We've been having a Halo game since that. Bungie, who was the original developers on the game, has been moving on, and they've been making Destiny, which they have, I don't think I put it in my notes here, but Destiny has got delayed. I got notes on that. I'm probably talking about it on my news bites, but they have delayed the Destiny expansion, so I'll talk about that later on this week. But, to me, you have to start the show off with Halo, because one, it will get people pumped. Two, that means that Halo's not your biggest game. Microsoft's been buying up a lot of studios, making them first-party studios, so I want to see something different, hopefully. I'm not saying that you have to go toe-to-toe and get Sony. You got all the great games. You got freaking God of War, The Last of Us, the Ghost of Tsushima just came out. It's getting great reviews. I'm not saying you have to compete against those. Those are top-level first-party studios. But just give us something different that's going to be fun. So start off with Halo. I'm hoping they start off with Halo, first game. And if they do that, I know it's going to be a good live stream. If they don't do it, if they show this as the last game, especially because it's said that they're not going to have multiplayer, which Halo is known for multiplayer. If you're not going to have that, it's got to be the first game. You cannot make that the last game at all. If you make it the last game, the event's probably going to, stink. But I'm hoping Microsoft get this right, man. I really, really do hope Microsoft gets this right. So, anywho, let's go over to our next slide. So, we going over to Sony right here. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of this. So, if you guys know, I kind of mentioned this in my news bites this past week. We have this is Geoff Keighley. He hosts the Game Awards. He's been on G4 TV. He is your top guy for gaming as far as a non-developer or non-publisher is concerned. Sony let him play the PlayStation 5. And I am extremely jealous. I'm still a small fry over here in the live streaming world, so hopefully I get enough, as they like to say, clout, where I can start, getting some of these privileges. But he's basically talking about how good the DualShock feels in his hands. So, I'm sorry, I keep saying DualShock. The DualSense. I'm still used to the DualShock. DualSense. A couple of points that he added was that it feels so good in the hands and everything like that compared to the DualShock 4. And the DualShock 4 was an amazing controller. When I touched the DualShock 4 and then touched the DualShock 3, the DualShock 3 honestly feel like crap now compared to the DualShock 4. I don't think the Xbox controller was that different for the Xbox 360s. I'm sorry for anybody that thinks otherwise, but I don't think it was that great. But the DualShock 4 is a really good feeling controller. But this is the DualSense. So we can actually, I can unmute some of the stuff he's saying. Let me see.
Side of these adaptive triggers. So imagine pulling this down and feeling the pressure from a bow in a bow and arrow, or even in an action game, pulling this down and feeling active reload points, where designers can actually create tension points as you pull this down at certain percentages, and give the player feedback. So I think that's a unique sensation that is going to have a pretty big impact, I think, longer term on gameplay. The other thing inside of this controller are the haptics. So PlayStation had Rumble for quite some time, but the haptics add another layer to the experience. It's not just sort of one Rumble point. So it's not just kind of on or off. There's the ability to create other sensations. As you'll see in this demo I'm going to show you of Astrobot's Playroom, you'll see what ice feels like, what sand feels like, and different surfaces. The other thing that I've noticed is that the speaker in the DualSense, it feels like it has much more range than the PlayStation 4 speaker, and it often directly ties into what's happening with the haptics. At least in Astro's Playroom, there's much more variety in the types of sounds coming out of the speaker. And I'm sure every game will use it differently or may not use it as much, but at least in this demo, you really do sense that there's a lot going on with the haptics and there's sound that ties into it. And then when you combine that with the Tempest 3D engine in PlayStation 5 for the speakers, the sort of harmony between the controller sound and what's happening in the PlayStation 5 is really, really unique and interesting. So those are the things I noticed in it. Some people have asked also about, like, what's the weight of it? What does it feel like? Compared to the DualShock for PS4, it definitely weighs a little bit more, but doesn't feel substantially heavier. And if anything, I think it actually has a little more heft to it in a good way, that it feels more structured and there's more sort of inside of it. So centered, but definitely feels good to me. So let's talk about what we're going to play today. What we're going to check out is Astro's Playroom, and that is...
All right, I'm going to go ahead. We can go back. I'll leave it onto this other screen right here so we can still see some of the stuff, and I might pop in and out for a minute on it. But yeah, so you heard all the points. The adaptive triggers, they really do feel like they're supposed to feel. So basically he was saying, you know, when you're just in the regular game menu, that, you know, you press it just like a DualShock 4. But when you're playing Astro, you know, Playroom, excuse me. Let me drink some water here, guys. Oh, man. Oh, excuse me. That when you're playing the actual game, like, you can actually feel the tension on the triggers. Also, he mentioned about the speaker. I love the speaker on the DualShock 4 because, like, when the original Nintendo Wii had it, like, I played, you know, the Wii a little bit, and, you know, it just, ooh, like, it was cool, but it wasn't, like, really anything game-changing. When Sony added the speaker on the DualShock 4, that made it more of an experience, because, like, when you play NBA 2K and you hear the buzzer go off on the controller, like, you know, I have surround sound, and just adding that sound on the speaker with surround sound was awesome. But yes, it's not loud enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really, really wasn't loud enough. So it's very, very interesting here, you know, or interesting to hear that the speaker's going to be a lot better onto the DualSense, because I like the speaker. I want to see it, you know, done more. I think another game that took advantage of that was Detroit. So for those of you that play Detroit, and more people need to go play Detroit. Detroit was an amazing game, man. Detroit Beyond Human. That was a great game. I forgot the main actor's name, but he plays on Grey's Anatomy, and I can't think of his name right now, but he's awesome in that game. I mean, every other character, because there's like 3 different storylines. That game was freaking phenomenal, man. So actually, I should go back a little bit, because he's actually explaining some stuff here. Let me go back a little. Let me go ahead and play some. I'm probably just going to let this play. I know this is going to run a little bit long today, but it's some good stuff that came out.
Looks like I'm going to have to flick up here on the pad to release my bot. And we are in CPU Plaza. The thing about this game, as you will see in this demo, there are a lot of references to the history of PlayStation. So Cooling Springs is the area that is open on Geoff's demo of this game. And we are going to jump in here and just go through this experience with the bot. All right, so we're on the beach here. There are beach balls you can play around with. There are some bots enjoying life, sunning themselves. Bot on vacation here. Should I disrupt them? Let's do it. How rude of me, right? And then we're going to head on over here into this sandstorm created by, I guess, these CPU fans. And again, when you get into this environment, I'm static here, but you hear the crisp coming at you. There's a tension in the controller from going over this sand environment, and then you push further in. Here we are. And look, the rubber ducks are back. Remember the duck demos? PlayStation 3, I think that was. Rubber ducks. All right, so I have this suit, and I'm going to push up on the controller to zip him up. This is the frog suit. And this frog suit shows off the adaptive controllers. So I'm going to move my controller left and right. And these adaptive triggers are really, really cool, and I've never felt something like this before in a console controller. As you push down on the controller, there's tension now in these adaptive triggers, and it's programmable. One thing that I think is really fun about this demo is it makes you think of how these technologies are going to be used in other games. So you think of Ratchet and Clank. I mean, obviously a lot of this gameplay similar in style to a Ratchet game. So you think of all those crazy graphics that we saw on the stream, but with this type of control and this kind of fun. So now we've made it to the frozen pool area of Cooling Springs. And here, we're going to pull down on this. And again, you see this ice, but you hear a storm literally inside of the DualSense, and sort of a small little rumble from the haptics. Little ice shards here. As you go past every ice shard, you hear the little tink of the ice shard. I wonder if, like, if I put this up to the mic, this is not ASMR, this is PSMR. Do you guys hear that? His little footsteps? All this is coming out of the controller. Got a checkpoint here. Now this one, you actually have to blow into the controller. Again, this one, you pull back, just like a bow and arrow almost. And look, I unlocked a PlayStation 3. I have a PlayStation 5. Well, I had a lot of fun playing with the DualSense controller.
Mic check, mic check. Anybody hear me now? Check, check, check. Mic check. So I think the sound had went out. You hear me now? Okay, good. I think I actually pressed, or actually my little software here is running slow. I actually hit the mute button, or I hit the mute button and then unmute, so I'm sorry about that. So basically what I was saying, I think I was going towards the PlayStation. So, you know, we'll have 10 million units, basically. So 10 million units going to ship. And to have 10 million PlayStations like out shipping, that's going to be freaking crazy. So I think if, because I probably was talking, you couldn't hear me. So if, I think it was the PS4, if I'm not mistaken, they sold, like actually people buying it, sold 7.5 million units. Sony can even beat it by 100,000 units. Like, they're going to be the best-selling system in that time frame of all times. Note, Sony has the #1 best-selling system in the PlayStation 2, the #4 best-selling system in the PlayStation 4, the 6th, I think, best-selling system in the PlayStation 3, and the PS1 is within the top 10 as well. The PS Vita is also up there on the list. The only PlayStation that's not in the top 10 selling list is the PlayStation Vita. That's the only system that has not made it into the top 10 for sales. And the Vita, no, even though it's not big here in America, the Vita is still a big thing in Japan right now, guys. There's still a lot of stuff going on with the Vita in Japan. So don't think the Vita is really dead. For America, yes, it's dead. For Europe, maybe even. But in Japan, there's a lot of stuff still going on with the Vita. But between the time frame of November to January, wintertime, where they're saying that we should be able to produce 10 million PlayStation 5s and hopefully I'll get them all shipped to manufacturers and distributors, like, that's going to be a feat during this whole COVID pandemic thing too. So basically Sony's saying we're going to have a PlayStation for most of you guys that want it, you know, day one between February, basically the beginning of February. That's going to be a very impressive feat. And you know, this is what I'm talking about when I'm comparing Sony versus Microsoft as far as the Xbox versus PlayStation. Sony is, they discuss things when they're ready to, and they doing it right. You know, this is why they're the top selling gaming manufacturer ever. Like, I mean, the more you see it, Nintendo was so stupid back in 1994 not going with Sony, you know, or backstabbing them, should I say, with the PlayStation. It's like, I'm actually glad. Like, thank you, Nintendo, for screwing up. Like, this is the best gaming system ever. I'm sorry. Nothing else comes close. PC doesn't come close. I don't care how many people would send me angry texts after that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't come close. They just do stuff right. They have the best studios. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to beat The Last of Us? Who's beating Gran Turismo for racing? You know? Who's beating God of War? You got freaking Ghost of Tsushima now. It's getting rave reviews. I haven't even finished freaking Death Stranding. I know Death Stranding, you know, wasn't a big game for a lot of people, but dude, if you play Death Stranding and like, you do have to be a certain type of gamer, but if you play Death Stranding and understand the game, a Tsushima game, dude, like, you're not beating them games, man. I'm sorry, you know, on me, like, I have much respect for Xbox. I have much respect for PC gaming. I used to do a lot of those, especially when I was younger. But I mean, Sony knows how to open your checkbooks. Because let's be realistic. Even with all this stuff, Microsoft trying to say, "Oh, we're being more game friendly," this and that and the other. Guys, they want your money, which is fine. You know, it's business. So, but if you want me to spend $1,000 plus with this gaming system, accessories, and games, like, especially games are supposed to be more expensive. Games are going up to, for at least for the top games, going to be $70, guys. These are big production studios that's rivaling or even exceeding movie studios now. They're requiring 300 people to work on some of these games now. Like, you know, if you want me to open up my wallet and spend my money, like, make it a reason for it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said checkbooks. Yeah, we ain't messing with too many checkbooks nowadays. I have a couple of clients that still give me checks, which is funny. I'm trying to get them to the digital age, but yeah, there's no more checkbooks. Or did I say checkbooks actually? Oh, I might have said checkbooks. My fault. Wallets. I meant to say wallets. Which, heck, we might not even see wallets in the next couple of years, guys. I'm going to do a special, hopefully, next month on the wallets, too. So look out for those. But, yeah, man, Sony just seems to always do the right stuff. It's just, you know, it is what it is, man. So look out for those 10 million units. I'm very stoked to see that DualSense video by Geoff. I cannot wait to see their August event, you know, so that's why a lot of people, like, I watch this guy MBG, like, I have to agree with him. Microsoft's gonna have to come with it this time, man. Like, this event Thursday, I'm not saying it has to be as good as Sony's event, but it has to come, man, you know, because as much as Microsoft said, oh, we're not trying to compete with Sony, you're making a system, you know. You're saying it's the most powerful system in the generation. So if you're gonna, you know, gloat and and everything like that, you know, let's call it 100, man. You know, come with it. You know, because look what Sony's doing. Sony's like, hey, we're releasing news when we're ready. We're not worried about Microsoft. You know, let them do all this stuff. You know, show their system early. We don't care. Go ahead, get excited about that stuff. But we're gonna let our stuff do the talking. And let me ask everybody this that's watching this live stream: have Sony disappointed? No. And for the people that says that they disappointed, you're super fanboys that's butthurt that, you know, Microsoft didn't have a good third-party showcase. So, you know, let's hope, you know, I'm really hoping that Microsoft do have a good showcase this Thursday, because especially if I'm watching it, I want it to be entertaining. But, you know, just so, even like the box art, for instance, the box art had I think it was over 110 likes now. The whole Microsoft event didn't get that many likes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, I really, really, you know, hope that we get a good Microsoft event, because I do want them to succeed. They're the number 2, you know, player right now in the gaming space. Like, you know, they have to come with it, man. They have to come with it. You know, there's nothing else you can tell me about otherwise, man. If they don't come with it, like, I have to agree with some of the people I'm hearing. Like, they're, you know, it's going to be Sony. It's going to be the PS3 versus Xbox One all over again, you know. Or PS4, I'm sorry. The PS4 versus the Xbox One all over again, you know, if not worse, you know. So, you know, I love Microsoft to death, but, you know, as far as the Xbox, man, come Microsoft, steal some of Sony's marketing team, like something, like give us something, man, like just on the controller right there, you know, because if you look at the Xbox One controller, or even the Series X. The Series X only really adds more buttons. Okay, we did some of the ergonomics and stuff like that. It's cool, but what about innovative? You know what I'm saying? The DualSense is innovative. Sony's like, we're getting rid of the motors, you know, which I'm sure they save a lot too, because they was paying licensing for that motor to immersion, which was, you know, whatever. But, you know, they're getting rid of the motors, putting half the feedback. And Geoff said, because I was even still, you know, like, I don't know how they're saying this haptic's supposed to feel better, but he's saying that, yes, it does feel like that in the video. So if he's saying it, and he has no reason to lie to his people, because he's got a reputation to hold himself, you know, so he's saying that this stuff is going to be really, really, like, this is what it really feels like, you know, and the control's a little big, but it still feels good. It's got heft on it, but it feels more premium. Like, that makes me more excited, you know. And then when they start coming out with colors, man, y'all already know my blue controller coming up, you know. But anyway, this is like, we're going a little bit over. We're on our last topic anyway. Let's go over to, I'll go quickly over the OnePlus, because there's an event on Tuesday. So I'm not going to live stream it, but I'll probably do what I would like to dub a late streaming, because it's going to be like 7 o'clock in the morning over here. So, and I'm really excited about the OnePlus stuff. So let me go ahead and change the scenes over here real quick. So this is going to be a picture or a snippet. It's not a video, it's just a picture, but this is their OnePlus Buds, what they're calling it. So OnePlus, for those of you that don't know, is a cell phone company. They've been doing it for a few years, actually. They're very, very big in China and India, and they're looking to expand. Some people got some OnePlus over here in the States. OnePlus, I think, has the ability to start going toe-to-toe with Apple and Samsung. The more I'm starting to pay attention to OnePlus, the more and more I'm starting to like their phones. Not only that, OnePlus whole thing is we're selling top premium smartphone features for mid-range prices. The top of the line cell phone, which is about to come out and release, the OnePlus 8, is about $900 for their most expensive model. We can't get that on Apple or Samsung at all. Their low model, their lower edition model of their premium phone, you know, starts off usually about $1,000 now. So that's going to be pretty cool. I think some of the natural light, I gotta bump up some light here so you guys can see. So good thing I got these lights from Amazon, guys. These are like the best investment I made. But anyway, the OnePlus Buds, they're going to have a 30-hour battery life. So now let me explain the battery life. So that's not 30 hours from the earplugs that you put in your ears. That's going to be about 7 hours. You're going to have the little portable charging case that you can take with you that's going to have 23 hours of battery life. So that will be able to charge the buds a couple of times over, you know, at least 3 times over. So you're going to get a total of 30 hours of battery life between your charging pods and your earplugs. It's going to be able to also have what they call warp charging. So warp charging basically is like fast charging. So you'll be able to get 10 hours from the charging pod in 10 minutes. So 10 hours in 10 minutes. So basically you get an hour per minute on that for the first 10 hours. The event's going to be this Tuesday if you want to watch it live. This Tuesday, 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, which will be about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So if you're Eastern, you're probably a little better. I'm going to be asleep at 7 o'clock in the morning, honestly. But I will probably do something with that event on Tuesday. I don't know if I want to do it like a live stream or just do it like a lifestyle, but it's not going to be live. I don't know yet, but I will be doing something on the OnePlus on Tuesday. But they're also saying that their event's going to be AR. So you should be able to take your cell phone and use the camera on the cell phone and like put on the desk, and it's going to be able to show the cell phone and the buds right there on the desk. It's going to be an AR experience. So I think that's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah, so that's what I got on that. I don't want to go over too much over it because we're going to be going over it more this week. But a lot of exciting stuff, guys. So we got the OnePlus event. We got the Microsoft event Thursday. And yeah, I've been busy trying to get all this news in, but it's a lot of exciting stuff. I'm really, really looking forward to that OnePlus event. I'm really, really starting to like a lot of their stuff, man. So anyway, anybody got any questions? I'm gonna open this up to a little bit of questions. If anybody has it, let me read some of the comments because I think I missed some comments too. 10 million, baby. Yes. 10 million systems as far as the PlayStation. Yes. 10 million. You're like, Sony cannot do wrong right now. Like they just know what to do. They know their market. You know what I'm saying? They just know what to do. Checkbooks, yeah, I already read that. Old school. Controller's gonna be huge. Yes, that DualSense controller, man, dude. Like people do not realize and see. And this is one thing I hate. But like, I mean, I guess you can call me a fanboy to an extent with the PlayStation, but this is one thing I hate. What people says, like they always say, "Oh well, the controller's better on the Xbox," and I'm like, "Why is it better?" And they can't give me a reason. Oh, it's just better. The thumb or except the thumbstick place, which I hate. And let me get my controller. So, for you guys that know, so the controller, this is the DualShock 4 that works with the PlayStation 4. So, with the Xbox One controller or most Xbox controllers nowadays or ever, they have the thumbstick pad right here, which I guess right here, if you hold the controller right here, but what if you're trying to stretch? Like I can probably do it with my fingers because I got long fingers. But like when I'm going right here and I need to control this, especially in Call of Duty, right here, I like to control this so I can move up while I'm calling commands on a D-pad. You know what I'm saying? So it's better to have it symmetrical right there next to each other because I can just do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that with the other one. I mean, I guess you can touch the D-pad right there. I guess it kind of works out, but I don't know. I just like the feel of this better, you know, because to me, it's more of a natural position when you have both of them right there because your hands, it's not like your hands is right here and then your other hand right there, you know. So this feels a little bit better, you know, for me. You know, everybody has their preference, but you know, it just feels a little bit better for me, man. You know, and I'm so happy that the DualSense going to have USB-C Type-C plug. Like, people don't realize like that USB-C plug. And I'm gonna show you guys a USB-C plug. So if you're a Samsung owner, you know definitely will see it now. If you have iPhone, you might start seeing it. Where's my? Or actually, I have it plugged in. Oh yeah, I'll use this one. So for the USB-C plug, if you guys see it right there, it doesn't have a notch or anything like the type or the minis, I say, or the micros. So on your phone, like I can basically plug this in either way. So I can plug it in like that, or I can plug it in like that. With the lightning plug, you can do that too. But you can plug it in either way without having to, I gotta look and see how the notch is. So, you know, like that's why I like the USB-C plug. These things you can also pass up to 100 watts and probably even more, but about 100 watts. So you can charge laptops now. Even the Apple notebooks now has the USB type chargers. And excuse me. The USB type C plug is also going to be used for Thunderbolts. You're starting to see them in Thunderbolt 3. It's a standard now for Thunderbolt 4 when it drops. USB-C connectors in the way of the future, you know, so, you know, even that on the controller to me is great. You know, the light bar, you know, a lot of people complain about the light bar, which, especially when they start adding dimming function, I didn't really, you know, I didn't really mind the light bar. Besides, it's good light when you're playing at the dark, because I like to play in the darkness at night. So, you know, the light bar is a lot slimmer on that DualSense controller. So, and it looks nice because the on the DualSense it goes around the touchpad, which is awesome, you know. But anyway, going back to the phones, we got some comments. It's in the name, Microsoft small and soft. Yes, I do think that the Microsoft controllers are, you know, for smaller hand people, you know, my honest opinion. Some people will try to argue with me, no, it's not. But anybody can tell you that if you ask my friends, like when we play Xbox, I'm going to hit the option button at least once, you know. And I like this because it's kind of like more recessed on the DualShock 4, you know. So you can't really accidentally hit it unless you really, you know, made an effort to. The Xbox One controller, that button kind of pops out, so I'm already hitting that button. And it's a little bit more cramped, you know, not a lot more, but just enough for like all the buttons, even like in the center, you know, your Y, X, A, B buttons are, you know, all kind of a little bit more cramped in. So me, I'd rather have the PlayStation style controller. Wait, what I missed. I'm guessing you mean what you missed. Is the OnePlus phones gonna make it here? My phone froze. Yes, the OnePlus phones, the event's gonna be on Tuesday at 7 a.m. I'm probably gonna do a live stream later that day. I'll probably try to do it. I might do that one at night, because if it's Tuesday, even though, you know, a lot of people are at home because of COVID, a lot of people still working, so I might do that like maybe like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening, maybe, you know, and then it'll give me enough time to research and do all my studying and stuff like that with it too. So if you're interested in the OnePlus phones, check me out on Tuesday. I'll probably announce it officially either later on today or tomorrow. Samsung owner raised. Yes, I'm a Samsung owner too. I am in search of a new phone because this one's cracked. This Note 9, I cracked it a few months ago. I just never got it fixed because I'm like, I can pay $300 for this curved screen to get fixed, or I can just hold off and just spend that money for the new phone. Oh, and actually to talk about that a little bit, from what I'm hearing, for those of you that's going to get the new Note, that the new Note is not going to have a curved screen. The new Note is going to have a flat screen. So it's not going to have like the curves. Let me actually take this out the case. Let me take this out the case. So if you can kind of see it, it's curved right there, which is cool. But, you know, do you really need a curved screen? This is more of a cool factor on it. You don't really need a curved screen on your phone, you know. It's nice touch. It kind of rolls nice off the fingers a little bit. But, I mean, I have my, for those of you that know, I might, you know, on my Patreon page do some of this and some of the behind the scenes, so explain some of the equipment. So if you look, this is my old Windows phone that I'm controlling Outlook with. I mean, not Outlook, what you call it, PowerPoint with. So if I go, I'll show you guys a little demo real quick, since, you know, I know we're over, but hey, we're chilling, right? What's it when you're having fun? But if you see right here, like, I control these slides and stuff with my Windows phone. So my Windows phone, I'm hanging on to it till the dead end, you know what I'm saying? So I can do all that stuff from this phone. So that's why if you see me pointing stuff, and the cool thing is I can go like this, and then you'll see like the little laser, the fake laser dot right there. So That's Windows Phone, and it has it's a slight curve on the screen, but not much. It's more angled if anything. But it's mostly flat. And I kind of like the flat feel too. So it really just depends on feel. That's cool. Jania said that's cool because I want to know more about the phones. Yeah, honestly, more than I'm learning about OnePlus, is pretty good. And actually, let me get out of that. But the more I'm learning about OnePlus is cool because I've always heard about OnePlus, and I've always been more interested to do their phones. So it's crazy that I'm getting a whole bunch of news since I started the Keyse review because it makes me really interested about their phones, and I might have to put them on the list right now for the next phone I might get because I can tell you the Microsoft Surface Duo, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. And it might be that OnePlus 8 maybe. We'll see what the Nord does because the Nord is like the mid-range phone. But I'm more of a premium guy, so I don't mind a few more dollars. And the 8 is still going to be cheaper than the iPhone and the freaking Notes and the S20s. And they're good phones. Like I said, they're really, really big overseas, especially in the China market, and the Indian market. Like they're really, really huge, and they're starting to make their way more and more towards American market, and it's going to be interesting to see the whole event in AR, This is the first time any of that stuff's going to be done. So I would like to see more, more stuff from that. But I think that's about all I got. If that's all you guys have. We really went long today, did we not? We went an hour and we had an hour and 40 minutes. That's awesome, but I love the interaction. I don't mind going over a little bit, always plan for a little bit longer on these podcasts. Hopefully, we can get some more people on here. So if you guys know somebody that loves tech and, or just likes to be educated on tech, refer them, to these pages. I got my Facebook page, which is thekeysreview.com. I have my Twitter page, which is thekeysreview.com. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Facebook.com/thekeysreview, Twitter.com/thekeysreview. And then, of course, here on YouTube, which you just have to link them. I'm trying to get to 100 users right now because 100 users, I can add the Keyse review on there. For some reason, they don't let you do that until you hit 100 subscribers. So I'm trying to get 100 subscribers, then I can simplify, the links because instead of having, youtube.com/blah, whatever, I can just do youtube.com/the review. So, if you guys know anybody that might be interested, send them over here and tell them if they like it, hit the subscribe button, and that helps me out. I can try to get some stuff, some more equipment because I really want to expand it. I also got my Patreon page. So my Patreon page, if you want to, donate or anything like that, I'll appreciate it. It does cost money to run this whole operation. The past month I've been spending a lot of money, trying to improve it, and hopefully it's showing, to you guys. But if you go to my Patreon page, it's going to be patreon.com/the and the links is below if you go to the info. And if you're on the phone, because I know some people get confused because especially on the phone you're just watching video. So if you go onto the phone, actually let me see because I got my computer linked up. I might can sort it on there a little bit better. Let me go to my phone app and let me go to my phone screen, and then let's go ahead and split screen that. This is why I love technology right here, guys. So if you over here and you go over to your YouTube, and then we'll just do we'll just do the live streaming real quick. So if you guys go right here, we'll move down the chat. So if you see this right here, you see where this little arrow is at, you can hit that down, and then there's all the info right there. So you can see the description, and then you see the links right there. So you see that where it says the Keyse review on social pages. So you see all my links is right there. So that's that right there. If you guys want to, go and, like I said, the Patreon, you can donate. There's 2 membership levels. Well, it's all really membership levels, but I made one just like a tip jar. And the other 2 is like actual pages where I'm doing like special stuff on there. So I've been posting pictures about my upgrades to my PC on there. That's going to be exclusive to the Patreon page. That's not going to be on anything else except for the Patreon page. But I'm looking to do some more exclusive stuff onto the Patreon pretty soon. But yeah, I've been working, man. This stuff is fun though, so I'm enjoying providing you guys with information, answering questions and stuff like that. And like I said, you hit me up in my inbox, you hit me up in my inbox too. I'm usually on Facebook more than Twitter, but I'll still get the Twitter notification. So yeah, that's that. You got the Patreon if you want to support me, but otherwise, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit the like button right there. And if you subscribe onto the YouTube, you can also tell it to the little bell. There's a little bell that pops up on the side of subscribe. You can hit that, and that will alert you whenever I come out with a new video or a new live stream. So, support me that way. Join up my Twitter page on the KeyseReview.com, Twitter.com/TheKeyseReview. My Facebook page is Facebook.com/KeyseReview. Hit those likes. You'll support me that way too, and definitely if you're watching YouTube, we haven't subscribed yet, subscribe there. That'll help me out a lot. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers right now, and getting to 100 subscribers will unlock more than just like the URL stuff. So yeah, guys, I think that's all I pretty much got for today. We're definitely, like I said, we're going to be talking about the OnePlus on Tuesday, and we got Thursday where we're going to be talking about the Xbox, and the Xbox event will be actually live stream. I'm going to get up early for that. The stream's going to start about 8:30 on that guy. And I think that for the most part, that's going to be mostly it for the week. Of course, I'm going to be releasing news bites sometime, usually like Wednesday, Thursday, I release news bites. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of fun stuff. Hopefully you guys liked everything I sold. If I can improve some, go ahead and post it on the page. Go to my, the Facebook is probably the best way to post, because I usually always have my Facebook open, especially when I'm on my computer. But go ahead if I can do some stuff better, or if you would like to see a request, like go ahead and make some requests, like make it onto those Facebook pages and everything like that. And we'll do it, man. We're here to expand, and we like to hear some criticisms too. So anyway, thank you for all the people that helped me right there. I always have the credit. So the credits are all the people that helped me. And if you join my Patreon, I will put you on this list right here. Or I might even, like on this one, I'll fade this one out and put it on this side. I don't know yet. But you're going to be on the credits if you join one of the top 2 tiers on the Patreon. So if you're the Techie or the Techie Premier, you will get your name on this page. But otherwise than that, guys, my name is Marquise. And this has been the Keyse Review, signing out. Be kind to each other, love your neighbors, be respectful, and be safe out there, guys. The pandemic is spreading. Stay at home as much as possible. Wash your hands, wear your mask, gloves, whatever you have to do. Protect yourselves, protect your neighbors, protect your community, because we got to beat all this together, And, who knows, maybe once we get done with this pandemic, I'll host a meetup or greet up at a restaurant or something like that, So, yeah, that's, again, my name is Marquise. My name is Marquise. This is the Keyse Review. Peace. One. Late, guys.